They say the old ones carry wisdom in their bones and hunger in their souls. Hunger not merely for food, but for the small dignities that make a life worth remembering. So it was, on an ordinary Tuesday, that a woman named Eleanor, 74 years old, sharp-eyed, unhurried, caught the scent of braised lamb drifting up from the sidewalk grate of a restaurant she had never entered. She stopped walking. She breathed it in. Cumin, rosemary, slow-cooked patience. It was the smell of something done right, something that had not been rushed. That, she decided, was where she would eat tonight. The restaurant was called Laurel, one of those places that chose its name like armor. Copper fixtures, white linen, the soft percussion of money. Eleanor pushed the door open and let the warmth take her. She approached the host's stand and asked, simply, for a table for one. The manager appeared. She was perhaps 40, in a pressed black blazer that said, "I make decisions here." She looked at Eleanor the way certain people look at weather, registering it, then deciding it was inconvenient. Up and down, the silver hair, the sensible coat, the unhurried posture of someone with nowhere else to be. "I'm afraid we're full," the manager said. Half the restaurant sat empty, tablecloths undisturbed, candles burning for no one. Eleanor did not argue. She had lived long enough to know that some battles are not won by words. She found a bench near the door, a narrow wooden thing meant to hold waiting, not people, and she sat down, folded her hands, and waited. In the next 45 minutes, she watched 3 parties arrive after her. Young couples, a group of men in business casual, none of them with reservations. All of them shown to tables within minutes. She watched the way the manager straightened just slightly for each of them. The performance of welcome that had not been offered to her. She didn't frown. She didn't sigh. She simply watched, the way elders watch, the way those who have outlasted many storms learn to observe the weather. It was a young waitress, maybe 23, who broke the rules. Her name, Eleanor would later learn, was Mira. Mira had been watching too, not with the same patience, but with the hot discomfort of someone who knows a wrong is being committed and hasn't yet decided what to do about it. She slipped over to the bench during a quiet moment and spoke low. "I have a table in my section. It's yours if you'd like it." Eleanor smiled, not with triumph, but with the warmth of someone who has always known that ordinary people contain extraordinary grace. The manager's eyes, when she noticed, turned hard as stone. Eleanor ordered the braised lamb with root vegetables and sauce, a glass of red wine she was in no hurry to finish. When the plate arrived, she did what only people who have truly earned a meal can do. She closed her eyes on the first bite and smiled. Not for the room, for herself. This is the kind of eating that has nothing to do with hunger and everything to do with being alive. Being present in a body that has carried you through 7 decades and still finds joy in a thing done well. 6. The plate. She was halfway through when the manager returned. She wanted the table. There were customers waiting, she said. Eleanor asked, only, to be allowed to finish her meal. A quiet request. A reasonable one. The kind that costs nothing to honor and everything to refuse. The manager reached across the table. She took Eleanor's plate, lamb, vegetables, the last of the sauce still warm, and she walked to the bar with it, and she dumped it, all of it, into the trash. The sound was brief. The silence that followed it was immense. The whole restaurant had seen it. Not one person looked away. The candlelight continued, indifferent. The copper fixtures gleamed. And in the hush, Eleanor sat with her empty hands in her lap and did not cry, did not raise her voice, did not give the room the scene it half expected from a woman who had just been made small. Instead, she reached into her coat pocket and pulled out her phone. She pressed one button. She spoke 4 words. "David, come please. Now." 7. The SUVs. 14 minutes. That was all it took. 3 black SUVs arrived at the curb outside, pulling to a stop in a line so precise it seemed rehearsed. The front door of the lead vehicle opened, and a man stepped out. He was perhaps 55, broad-shouldered, unhurried, dressed with the quiet confidence of someone who has never needed to announce himself. His name was David. In this city, his name did not need a last name. He did not rush. He did not need to. He walked through the front door of Laurel the way weather moves through an open window, not forcing anything, simply arriving and changing everything about the room. 8. The truth. He looked around the restaurant slowly. He looked at the empty plates that had been cleared. He looked at the trash can behind the bar, where a meal still lay wasted. He looked at the manager, who had gone the color of old chalk, whose legs, those who were close enough swore, had begun to tremble. Then he looked at Eleanor, who had not moved from her table, who sat with her hands folded and her back straight. And something in his face went quiet and certain, the way a man's face looks when he knows exactly why he has been called. He turned to face the room, and he spoke. Respect is not a thing you give because you have been asked for it. It is not a reward you hand out to those who match your idea of worthy. It is the price of being human. It is earned, not by how you treat those who can do something for you, but by how you treat those who cannot, by how you treat those who are tired, those who are old, those who simply want to sit down and eat a meal in peace after 74 years of walking this earth. That is the measure. That has always been the measure. David spoke into the room, and to the city, and to the years that followed. The restaurant did not fall to its knees from fear. It fell from the weight of being recognized, the sudden, terrible, clarifying recognition that something wrong had been done in a room full of witnesses who had said nothing, and that saying nothing is its own kind of answer. 9. What remained? Mira, the waitress, was not punished. She was, before the week was out, offered a better position at a better restaurant by someone who had been dining at Laurel that night and had watched her act with a quiet courage that 23-year-olds are not always praised for. The manager left Laurel within a month. No announcement was made. She simply stopped appearing, the way things that cannot survive scrutiny eventually disappear. Eleanor returned to the restaurant 3 weeks later, on a bright Wednesday afternoon, and ordered the lamb again. It was, if anything, better the second time. She sat by the window, in no hurry. She closed her eyes on the first bite and smiled. This time, when the room noticed, they smiled too. The telling. They still tell this story in the city, in the restaurants and the barber shops and the bus lines, the way stories get told when they carry something true in them. Not as a warning, exactly. Not as a celebration, either. As a reminder that the old woman on the bench is watching, that the room is always watching, that somewhere, in every city, there is a young waitress deciding whether to be brave, and that the meal, the one you are given or the one you are denied, is never really about the food. It is about what you believe another person is worth. It is about who you are when no one powerful is watching, until someone is. The moral of the tale. The kindness you refuse to the least powerful person in the room becomes the story that defines you. Treat everyone as though they have already dialed. Treat everyone as though they matter, because they do.